So, hi Professor, this is Sudhanshu Rawat and I'm here to demonstrate the Lab 5 of our course. So we did this Lab 5 in pair, like me and Deepam Jindal, we both did it together. So yeah, I'm gonna demonstrate I'm gonna demonstrate the lab. So we were supposed to create a program where we can insert the player informations, the like what game do the players play. We were supposed to add this information, and we were supposed to add a window where we can see all the report. Starting from the player form, so we created a class player form and all the like text fields to enter the player details, and as well as the action buttons, which the actions the player can perform, like the text fields like the player name, first name, last name, address, and moreover. And same the action buttons, the insert button, update button, the back button, and the load button to load all the info. So then we moving on to the constructor to add all the player information. That's the title of our window, size, the height and width of our window, and the default operation to close the window, and to center the form of the screen. So there's the location relative to null. Moreover, we created the labels and the text field for the player information. That's like what all information do we have to enter about the player. There's the player ID, first name, last name, address, postal code, province, phone number, and everything. And that's the labels for our actions: insert player, update player, back to main menu, and load player info. Okay, so getting on to the layout, the layout of the window, we're gonna have 10 rows and 2 columns, and like this one we are following rows and the column. Yeah, did a action for insert button. Like here we have created the set action for all the buttons. That's for the insert, that's for the insert button, oh sorry, that's for our update button, that's for our load button. And yeah, for the load, for the to load all the information inside this, we have the if and else function. If the player ID is empty, and inside this we have a nested kind of function, just try function. If we enter the proper information, it's gonna get it. If it's wrong, it's gonna ask her for enter a valid player ID, like if we enter some wrong player ID which is not created yet. And then we have the else function, like please enter a valid ID to load. And then there's the back button, like there's a action for the back button. Moreover, then we have inserting the information to the database. Then we have used the Deepam's database, which is we create the connection, the Deepam Jindal player, where we're gonna insert all the info, the first name, last name, and all the information that we have. And then we have the int, and we have the if function to execute all the query and check all the rows that are affected. So we have if it's everything good, you're gonna show player information inserted successfully, and if there is any exception, we have this catch function to handle the SQL exception. Is gonna show the error inserting the player info if there is any exception or anything wrong with that. Moving forward, then we have methods to update player info. Then we have method to update the player info. For that we have to enter, again we have the if function. If the player ID is empty, then it is going to show that please enter the player ID to update the information. Again, for this, anything that we enter, we have the function is going to put everything on the it's going to add everything to the database. That's the Deepam Jindal player connection. And again we have the if it's everything good, player information updated successfully. If there is anything wrong, no player found with that ID. And the else function for the SQL exceptions. Then we have method to load the SQL, method to load the current players. Again the same thing, the try function. The try function is gonna is gonna search from the Deepam Jindal player, where the player ID will be random, like whatever we enter, whatever the user enters, and it's gonna give us all the information like whatever we entered over here. Else, if then we have the else, like if we enter any wrong information, then it's gonna say no player found with this ID, and the catch function if there is any exception. And at the end we have the main method to run the application. So yeah, moving on to the game form. I'm sorry for the noise. I'm in the college right now. So yeah, moving on to the form, we have the game form class. Then we have the fields, like the player combo box. It's gonna this one gonna fetch the player from the database, and then we have the game name field, which from where we over there we're gonna enter the game name, like what game we're gonna add. And then we have a constructor to build how our window, how our form gonna look like there's a title, there's a size, how it's gonna close, and what's gonna be its location. Then we have code to fetch the data from the database, and to fetch all the players data, which is which we gonna select the player ID, first name, and the last name from Deepam Jindal player, which I already mentioned above. That's a database connection. Then we have the loop, with the while loop to retrieve all the players data, and then at the end we have the catch, which is gonna handle the SQL exceptions if there is anything wrong, and if there is anything wrong, if it finds there is something wrong, it's gonna show the message error loading players data. Moreover, then we have created the components for the form. There's the same thing: select the player, select the game name. Then we have the insert, we have the action buttons. The first button is to insert the game. Second one is to go to the back main menu. Then this is our layout setup. How our window gonna look like. Moving forward, we have the action listener. Yeah, for the action button we have this one, and for the to insert the data we have this one, and to go back to the main menu we have this one. Then we have code to select the player. You can ask us, please select a player if it's the selected player index is -1, and same for the game. It's gonna ask if the game name is empty. It's gonna ask us that please enter a game name. Moreover, then we have code then we have this code to check if the game already exists. If the game already exists, it's gonna retrieve the game ID. If it does not, it's gonna insert a new game into the database. That's the different connection, that Deepam Jindal game. Enter new game in the game. Moreover, then we have code to check if the player and the game combination already exist. If it exists, it's gonna select from the Deepam Jindal player in game, and if there's no existing record, it's gonna insert the new data into the same database connection. And and this is the last output, which is gonna say if the game name already exists, it's gonna say game information inserted successfully, and if there's something wrong, it's gonna say that player has already played this game, if the information is already present in our database. At the end we have the catch function to handle the exceptions. If there's anything wrong, it's gonna say error inserting the game info, if you are missing something or an information. And at the end we have the method to run the application. So moving on to the report form, we have the report form class. Where we have the JD table to display report data, and the table model to manage all the data from the J table. We have constructor to show how our window gonna look like. There's the title and the size and everything. Then we have go to initialize the JD table and set up the table model. This is how we're gonna define our columns, which is gonna be like first name, last name, game title, and the play date, like when they played the game. And then how we're gonna set up our data. It's gonna make it like a scroll pane to set up like all the information and different players in game. Then we have the method to fetch and load the report data from the database. We have the try queries. We have this query which is gonna take all the data like the first name, the last name, title, and the play date from the respective database connection. That's the player, and the game, and the game. Yeah. Then we have the query to select the then we have to prepare the query statement and execute the query and retrieve the result from there. Moreover, what do we have? We have the while loop to retrieve all the player information, like all the details, first name, last name, game title, and the play date. And at the end we have the catch function, which is again to handle the SQL exceptions. If there is anything wrong or anything missing data, it's gonna show error loading a report. And at the end we have the method to launch our report form. Okay, so after all this code, we have the database connection class, like where we have connected the database. That's our URL and like complete URL, including the host name and everything, and the user and the password for this. Yeah, that's all. And this is our driver class for all the windows. Like, I don't think we need to explain this. I'll just run the code and it's gonna show. And also we have one small error in our code that I'm gonna share right now. Here we can see the player info. Let's say I don't need to add the player ID every time. It's gonna generate its own ID. Let's say I enter a player name Sid, last name let's say is Sid Rawat, address is random main street, postal code is 3V, province is Ontario, and phone number is again let's say 987-654. Player is inserted successfully. Going back to the main menu, the game form. We have just look for any random player. Let's say I fetch the latest data, this one. Game name, what game I'm gonna enter on this is, let's say I enter PUBG. Insert the game. Sorry, this spelling mistake. Yep, one error that we are not able to fix is on the first time it shows an error, but when we click again it enters the game. Let's insert the game. So yeah, going back to the main menu, let's go to the report form. This is all our report, that like all the things that we have entered right till now.